Good morning. I'd like to call to order the open meeting for Thursday, August 1st, 2024, and ask the Commission Secretary for information on today's agenda.
Each commissioner has independently reviewed the minutes of the open meeting of Thursday, July 18th, 2024, and each has informed me there is no need to discuss the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of the open meeting of Thursday, July 18, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Each commissioner has independently reviewed the agenda, and each has informed me there is no need to discuss the notices associated with agenda items 2 through 25, the suggested minute associated with agenda item 26, approving the request of Walnut Way Conservation Corporation for intervenor compensation in the amount of $104,790 to participate in docket 5 UR 111, the suggested minute associated with agenda item 27, denying the proposed CP3 energy limiter and directing Mount Horeb to pursue a specific electrical vehicle tariff and rate design specifically geared toward direct current fast charger customers, or the suggested minute associated with agenda item 28, denying the request of Dr. Kinlau for a formal review of her complaint against Wisconsin Electric Power Company.
I move we approve the notices of investigation associated with agenda items 2 through 9.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move we approve the notices of proceeding associated with agenda items 10 through 25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
In docket 1IC 563, I move we approve and fully fund Walnut Way's request for intervenor compensation in the amount of $104,790.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. In docket 3930 TE 104, I move we deny the proposed CP3 energy limiter and instruct the applicant to pursue a specific electric vehicle tariff and rate design geared towards DC fast charger customers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. In docket 6630 CC 236088, I move we deny Dr. Kinlow's request for a formal review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That brings us to agenda item 29, our one discussion item for the day, which is docket 9718 FG 2023, the scoping memo for the Federal Inflation Reduction Act Training for Residential Energy Contractors Grant Program, which is also known as TREC. And Commissioner Nieto is going to lead our discussion on this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Strand. So this is the TREC program. It is a new federally funded grant program that is being administered by the Public Service Commission's Office of Energy Innovation. The purpose of this funding is to develop and implement a state workforce energy program, preparing workers to deliver energy efficiency, electrification, and clean energy improvements that will be facilitated through the Homes and Here programs. For all those following along, you may recall Homes in Here are Inflation Reduction Act programs, and in Wisconsin, we have about $75 million for each program to promote energy efficiency and fund home improvement projects that save energy and lower bills. So for this particular program that we're talking about today, TREC, for energy contractors, we have $2.8 million, which will be released in two parts, and we're scoping out the first part, or the first round of that today, and designing essentially what the parameters of that request for applications will look like for the first round. I will say, too, we also have a proposal ongoing for an energy auditor training program. We did get some comments about big opportunities for quality jobs in insulation, air sealing, and energy assessing. And so this program, together with that energy auditor training grant program, are both ways to get at that. That is a competitive program that we're applying for, and we expect a decision in October. Our staff did prepare a memo on the TREC program that we're discussing today with several decision points. We received a number of thoughtful comments that I found really helpful again. And I think our decisions today about how to approach this pilot round of the program will be better for the comments that we received. And I think with that, having reviewed the memo, I'm ready to jump right into decision points unless my colleagues would like to make any opening comments on this.
Thank you. I'm just excited that this is a holistic approach to making sure that we have the necessary workforce to help deliver existing and ongoing energy efficiency opportunities for customers, but also to help out with homes in here and some of those new programs. So well done to everyone who's crafted this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just add, workforce challenges are a huge issue in the electric industry today with all the change that's going on, and so it's exciting that there's a program specifically geared towards addressing that. And I did have one question, and I can follow up later, which is that program, the competitive one you mentioned, and not knowing about it until October. Is that something we could consider? I know that this program we're about to discuss is in 2 tranches, and will the timing sync up in a way so that if we needed to pivot to help them complement each other in a better way, could we do that down the line? And so that's just a question that popped into my mind when you mentioned the other auditor program. So I don't know if you have an answer, but it's just something I'd be interested in thinking about as we hopefully hear positive news in that other program.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. And yes, the team is actively designing this program to work together with the energy auditor training program in the hopes that we receive that and is ready to pivot if that doesn't happen, but certainly. Great, thank you both. So going straight into the eligible activities, that's the first decision point. The eligible applicant types is the first decision point that we have today. For this one, I was at Alt 1, Sub Alt B, allowing all eligible entity types and not establishing a priority list. Chair Strand?
Thank you. Initially, I was at alternative 1, Sub Alt A, but I can join you at B. I don't think there's a huge difference between them, and I'm hoping that we have a lot of interest in this in general. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Like the chair, I was at Alt 1, Sub A, but I can join you at B and leave it open-ended and not define the priority at this time.
That sounds great. Thank you both. The second decision point we have is on eligible activities. We got some comments and different approaches on this one. For this one, I was similar to the first decision point. I was at Alt 1, Sub Alt B, not establishing priority activities. I will say my thoughts on this were similar to the first one, with this being the first round of 2, keeping it wide open, keeping it flexible, learning what types of applications we're going to get may be advantageous before trying to focus or move the needle on those applications. And I did want to highlight, because of the comments that we received, I appreciated the comments about amplifying our commission goal number 2 around including disadvantaged communities. I think that's a really important one. One thing I'll note, because I don't know if it's abundantly clear, but for all of these Justice 40 programs that we've implemented, in our scoring matrix and applications, we ask a Justice 40 question, and then that is weighted and scored. So for instance, applications meeting the J40 criteria would receive an additional 10 points. So there's already a prioritization built in to the program around that. And we do have the ability here, and I think we will likely need to here because of the nature of this program, to ask additional questions around how would you reach communities and work with them, cite how you've worked with underrepresented communities, and to be weighing and scoring those things. And so I do think we have mechanisms already available to ensure our goal. It's not a would-be nice kind of goal. It's an actual target that we're working to meet. I wanted to share that to give some context to the commenters here. But with that, I'll turn it over to you, Chair Strand.
Thank you, and thank you for that explanation and description. I think it's really helpful to provide that context and further detail about the scoring methods. So initially, again, I was at Alt 1 Sub A, but I think you made some really good points. And again, since to Commissioner Hawkins' point that we have an opportunity in the second round or second tranche of this to decide kind of lessons learned, what worked, what didn't, how do we want to maybe hone in on other things or make some changes to improve that second round. I think that your position kind of allows us to gather all that information and see where we are. So I can join you at Sub Alt B on this one as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, and I will join the 2 of you at Alt 1 Sub B.
Sounds great, thank you. Our next decision point has to do with curricula and material approval timing. We have a little bit of a balancing act to do here because we're trying to get these projects going as quickly as possible. Time is of the essence here because this is to support the Homes in the Here programs. I came in partial to alternative two, as suggested by that kind of consortium or coalition of commenters that we had. I do think it is a nice way to make sure we mitigate the risk of having applications or grant agreements stall out because the grantee hadn't started work with DOE early. That said, I appreciated the comments by Green Homeowners United and the Wisconsin Laborers District Council on acknowledging and some of the administrative ease of that. So I'm at two, also open to three and interested to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Thank you. I talked myself in circles on all three alternatives here, but I ultimately did end up at two. I think, like you said, it kind of strikes that balance. I also, just from discussion, reading the memo and discussions with our team on this, doesn't seem like there are going to be, extra administrative burdens after the fact that would, fully hamper this or slow this process down. So I think two is kind of that hybrid position that allows slightly more than just a baseline acknowledgement, but also not as crazy as like you have to be certified before you can do this. So I think that's a balanced approach to this aspect of the program.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
I was in a similar spot as Commissioner Nieto with preferencing Alt 2 and open to 3. And I think Alt 2, by having the application already sent to the DOE, does help protect staff time where those hangups would lead to administrative burden and potentially a lot of chasing tails and things like that. So I'll join the two of you at Alt 2.
Great, thank you. And next, we have a question on the program budget. For this one, I was at Alt 1, establishing the round one budget of $1,275,948.
I was at Alt 1 also. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Same for me.
Thank you. And we have a question on maximum grant award amounts. I was at Alt 1 for this one, not establishing a maximum amount.
I was at alternative 1 as well.
Same here. I think that'll help lead to some creative solutions potentially by not having any sort of bounds on what the size of the proposals could be.
Okay, thank you. Same. And then finally, we have a question on funding set-asides. For the same reason I didn't favor directing priorities on the activities at this time, I do not think we should do funding set-asides just to avoid any unintended consequences in this first round. So for that reason, I was at Alt 1 on this one.
I was at alternative 1 as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Same for me. If we're pursuing flexibility, it would be weird to have these at the final decision point. So Alt 1.
Great. Thanks to you both. Are we ready for a motion?
I think so.
Okay. In docket 9718 FG 2023, I move we approve scoping for the Training for Residential Energy Contractors program consistent with our discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Yato, for leading that discussion. You did a great job. And again, I think we're all excited about the truck program. So that does conclude our official business for today. Our next open meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 15th, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we stand adjourned until Thursday, August 15, 2024 at 10:30 a.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.